Live from Dallas and Fort Worth, this is CBS 11 News at 10. The Ones for Texas.
Right now at 10, disbelief and shock at AT&T Stadium as Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott is carted off the field with a graphic leg injury, tears in his eyes. But tonight, this picture from his brother, sharing it to all with a message of hope and resilience. We have team coverage tonight from Dak's condition from that injury and how fans and the team are also reacting. Let's begin with Bill Jones. Bill, anyone who is a football fan let out a collective gasp when that injury happened.
That's right, Steve. Let's start with the very latest on Dak this evening. Reportedly, the Cowboys quarterback is now out of surgery here within the last hour to repair a compound fracture and dislocation of his right ankle. And a source says the surgery went very well. It was just a sickening feeling shared by all who witnessed what happened to Dak Prescott this afternoon. And to think earlier we had seen Dak as happy and gleeful as we've seen him on a football field when he caught the first touchdown pass of his career as the Cowboys came from behind to take a 24-20 lead on the Giants. But in the third quarter, Dak was tackled by Giants safety Logan Ryan after a 9-yard run. He knew immediately, and so did everyone else, that this was serious. His current coach, Mike McCarthy, his former coach, Giants offensive coordinator Jason Garrett, come onto the field to check on Dak along with teammates before he was carted off the field in an emotional scene. Prescott suffers a right ankle compound fracture and dislocation, an open fracture that required surgery tonight to wash the wound and fix the fracture. Local physician and longtime trauma surgeon Steve Weinberg shared his insight with me on the injury.
This type of injury, could it affect his career?
I don't think so. Things should heal. And I don't think he'll play in the regular season, but 6-8 weeks from now, that bone should be healed, and it should not be a long-term effect on his career.
Dak was taken to the hospital where his brother Tad tweeted out this picture just as the game was ending. Well, Dak was being admitted to the hospital. His replacement, Andy Dalton, leads the Cowboys on the game-winning drive in the final minute, connecting with Michael Gallup on a 38-yard pass in the final 30 seconds. That set up Greg Zuerlein for a game-winning 34-yard field goal. The Cowboys beat the Giants 37-34, and at 2-3 are now all alone in first place in the NFC's Eastern Division. The Cowboys able to celebrate a victory, and they do it for their leader, who is now lost for the season. Keith Russell joins us live with the reaction from the Cowboys locker room. Keith?
Hey, Bill, it was hard to focus on that comeback win. It was hard to even focus on the fact that there was still a game going on after Dak went down. Everyone in the press box, we were all in disbelief saying, don't tell me that happened. Not him. Not him. And then it's like, yes, it happened. And no matter how pretty a spin we all want to put on it, at least right now, the Cowboys' immediate future just took a really big blow.
Boy, he's hurt. Prescott's hurt. I didn't like the way he fell.
The only thing worse than seeing one of the most beloved players in all of sports go down with an injury that one way or another will be career-altering was seeing the tears flow in the process.
I have nothing but love and respect for Dak. It's just, I can't really, look at stuff like that. It's just very gruesome. But just to see him go down is upsetting, bro.
The Cowboys and their fans are not alone in feeling heartbroken. Being the underdog who has always overcome professionally, not to mention personal tragedy, Dak's resilience will once again be tested.
And he's clearly the leader of this football team, and I have no doubt that he'll bounce back from this, and this will just be all part of his great story.
In the Bible, it says the Lord won't put you through anything you can't bear.
Perhaps no teammate is at a loss for words more than Zeke Elliott. He and Dak have been the dynamic duo since being drafted by the team in 2016.
Zeke, how personal is Dak's loss for you, of all people, with the camaraderie and the bond and the ultimate friendship you share, and both of you guys, up until now, never having missed a game with the Cowboys due to injury?
It's tough. It's tough just because we came together, and through the years we've become such close friends, and I know how much this means to him and how much being out there for this team means to him. And so, I mean, it's hard, but all we can do right now is support him.
You know, clearly Zeke Elliott was devastated several times while he was speaking to the media. He had to catch his breath. He lost his train of thought, and he said, guys, sorry, my mind's not here right now. But Desmond Purnell, Zeke can't be the only one who's devastated. What about all the people who eat, breathe, and sleep Cowboys football?
No doubt about that, Keith. The fans feel just as bad as the players. The outcome of Sunday's divisional matchup between Dallas and the New York Giants doesn't seem as significant after witnessing Dak Prescott suffer that gruesome season-ending injury.
No matter the situation, what it is, he was fighting hard, doing what he can to do for the team, and that's why we respect him and we love Dak Prescott for that.
Prescott breaks the tackle.
Over 25,000 fans inside AT&T Stadium went numb after the face of the franchise, Dak Prescott, went down with a serious right ankle injury.
If you look at the ankle, it looked weird and gross.
Man, me being a diehard Cowboy fan, man, I kind of felt it in my heart too, man. I felt it for Dak.
The fans gave Dak a standing ovation as he was carted off the field. They also shared tears with Dak, knowing his season is likely over.
I got choked up when I saw him, and he was tearing up, and I could just imagine what's going through his head. And it's you know, like I said, it's heartbreaking.
The fans inside AT&T Stadium were not the only ones devastated by Dak's injury. Several former Cowboy greats took to Twitter to express their remorse. Hall of Famer Troy Aikman said, "Devastated for Dak, one of the truly great people in the NFL." 2020 has been a very challenging year for Dak. His brother passed away earlier this year. He publicly addressed his battles with depression and now a broken right ankle. No doubt this is going to hurt the Cowboys and their fans for quite some time. Reporting live from AT&T Stadium, I'm Desmond Purnell. Steve, we're going to send it back to you.
Okay, Desmond, thank you so much. You mentioned fans. We caught up with a lot more of them in downtown Dallas. Frankie's Sports Bar, as you can imagine, so many of them showing concern for Dak as well.
Man, I was hoping it was a cramp or something, but when you saw his ankle, it was gruesome.
I was worried. I mean, I'm a huge Dak supporter. I think he's a good dude. No, getting him hurt, he's the one guy you don't want that to happen to.
And just a short time ago, Jerry Jones, Cowboys owner, releasing a statement that's saying in part, quote, "We are all heartbroken for Dak in this very disappointing injury. I know this young man very well. I know the personal hardship and strife that he has faced, dealt with, and overcome in his young life. He has all of our love and support, and we have no doubt that he will return to the position of leadership and purpose that he brings to our team." That from Jerry Jones this evening. Still ahead tonight, a North Texas family waiting on justice. It's been nearly 1 year since Tatiana Jefferson was shot and killed by a former police officer. How her family is honoring her memory by helping others in need. Also, a massive concert draws thousands of people to a rural area just south of Dallas, and it ends with shots being fired. And Jeff Ray, is this summer in October? It was 90+ degrees throughout our region today, right?
Yeah, it was a summer day today, but a cold front is on the way. I'm going to show you what it does for us coming up in the full forecast in just a few minutes.
Law enforcement authorities in Ellis County are looking for a gunman who opened fire at an outdoor concert. There is at least one victim of that shooting. It happened just after midnight. This is in Ferris, about 20 miles south of Dallas. Authorities say 2,000 to 3,000 people attended an outdoor concert. That gunman apparently started firing into that crowd. One man shot in the stomach. He was taken by care flight to a hospital in Dallas. At last check, he was listed in stable condition. Authorities say that suspect is still on the run tonight. Tomorrow marks 1 year since Tatiana Jefferson was shot and killed by former Fort Worth police officer Aaron Dean inside her own home. That shooting death drawing national alarm and concern. That now fired police officer went to Jefferson's home for a wellness check after her neighbor actually called police, reporting her front door being open. But what happened was all caught on body cam video. Dean is now charged with murder and awaiting trial. Today, Jefferson's family, her loved ones, say they are choosing to focus on the good. And as Aaron Jones shows us tonight, they are honoring Tatiana Jefferson in the way they say she would want to be remembered.
Hi, my name is Tatiana Jefferson, and I'm doing lab exercise 5.
She held a pre-med degree with aspirations of becoming a doctor. In the words of her father, the possibilities were endless. At 28 years old, Tatiana Jefferson's life was taken. Then, just 28 days later, her father, Marquise Jefferson, died of what his widow describes as a broken heart.
I am feeling all of the emotions that one would feel who has lost a dear loved one. And it's a double shot for me. This brings back many memories of that saddened time. However, I am also empowered to do something positive.
For the next 28 days, Noella Jefferson will be carrying out her loved one's life's passion.
Today we are feeding the homeless, and we're also passing out cots.
It's the work of two organizations created in their honor, the Tatiana Tay Jefferson Foundation and Coming Off the Sidewalk, or COTS. Meanwhile, she says she's patiently waiting for justice to be served for her stepdaughter.
We did not expect it to maybe take this long, but we're hoping that the wait is because they are pondering truly on how to proceed forward and do the right thing. I think for the fact that we are a year later still suffering from the same things that have happened over the years lets us know how truly a change must come about. Coming to you, dear.
She's made it her mission to overcome loss with love.
That we remember you and we care.
So tomorrow, on the 1-year anniversary of Jefferson's death, her stepmother will again spend the day giving back, feeding the homeless, and passing out cots in her honor. In Dallas, Aaron Jones, CBS 11 News.
President Trump says he is now immune from the coronavirus, even though research indicates it is possible to be reinfected by that virus. CBS News correspondent Tom Hansen has the story now from New York.
In a Sunday interview, President Trump said he believes he is now immune from the coronavirus.
It looks like I'm immune for, I don't know, maybe a long time or maybe a short time. It could be a lifetime. Nobody really knows, but I'm immune.
It's not yet known how long immunity from the coronavirus might last after a patient is infected. During his treatment for COVID-19, President Trump received an experimental Regeneron Pharmaceuticals antibody cocktail, which he called a cure.
So the president is in very good shape to fight the battles.
On CBS's Face the Nation, Regeneron's president and CEO was asked about President Trump's claims.
So the president's case is a case of one, and that's what we call a case report. And it is evidence of what's happening, but it's kind of the weakest evidence that you can get.
In a memo Saturday, the White House physician said President Trump is no longer considered a transmission risk to others and does not need to self-isolate. But the statement, released after the president held his first public event since leaving the hospital,
first of all, I'm feeling great. I don't know about you.
Did not say if he has received a negative COVID-19 test. And on Sunday, Dr. Anthony Fauci issued a statement in response to the Trump campaign using a clip of an interview with him in an ad. The ad made Fauci appear he was praising the president's coronavirus response. Fauci said, "The comments attributed to me without my permission in the GOP campaign ad were taken out of context from a broad statement I made months ago about the efforts of federal public health officials." Fauci says in his nearly 5 decades of public service, he has never publicly endorsed any political candidate. Tom Hansen, CBS News.
Early voting for Texas, it begins Tuesday, and this year you have more time to cast your ballot. In July, the governor issued an executive order to extend early voting by nearly a week in an effort to spread out voting at polling places during the pandemic. So here's what you need to know. Registered voters can cast their ballot at any designated polling location in the county in which they live. They open at 7 a.m., close at 7 p.m. For a complete listing of those polling sites, all you have to do, go to our website, cbsdfw.com. 90-degree temperatures for North Texas here today on an October day that felt like an August day. But Jeff Ray tells us there may be a little bit of a change headed our way. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, Steve, you know summer in middle October just not going to last, of course. Let's take a look. Clyde Warren Park right now, temperatures there 84 degrees. That's still warmer than your typical high this time of year, and it's 11 o'clock at night. One of the reasons the temperatures are holding is look at the dew point. It's at 65, so it's very humid air. It's been around all day after a hot day, 96 degrees. Did it feel like summer out there? The last time it was this hot was a summer day, the last day of August and the end of meteorological summer. That was the last time we were in the upper 90s. It was unusually warm. Was not a record, however. One of the reasons we didn't get to that record was that the dry air stopped in our western counties. Look at the dew point in Breckenridge at 43. Same time, the dew point had dropped to at least around 60 at DFW. It did lower, but not low enough. But that 43 in Breckenridge, that really dry air warms up very easily. And that was a high in Breckenridge of 102 today. To put that in perspective, it's never been 100 degrees at DFW this late in the season, ever. And those records go back 120 years. But you can see you had Graham and Comanche, they were near 100 degrees as well in that dry air. Now that, if you look, you can see the cloud cover, that's a cold front, and it's bringing some rain across Kansas. It comes here in the overnight hours. It's not going to bring any rain, in fact, hardly a cloud, but it will at least bring some cooler weather. You can see it sweep past us through the overnight hours, and tomorrow morning, when you wake up, well, we'll have a brisk wind out of the north. And instead of in the upper 90s, we're in the low 80s for an afternoon high. Again, we're not talking about rain chances tomorrow, but a brisk wind, a lot of sunshine, and it looks like temperatures by the lunch hour will be in the low 70s, so I know it would be a little breezy out there, but a good day to be outside, especially for lunchtime. Are you traveling to the East Coast tomorrow? You need to know that the remnants of Delta are still bringing heavy rains there all day long along New England. Some thunderstorm activity before that front coming in from the west clears all that out. But hurricanes this season, I mean, the most we've ever had was 15 years ago, 28 in 2005. Well, we've had 25 named storms so far this year. That's second place. And, well, 4 out of 5 hurricanes agree. The place to land this year was the Gulf, and that's where 4 of the 5 hurricanes have hit, the Gulf Coast. Hey, there's no rain we're talking about here in the week ahead. This is our second wettest month of the year. For the last 30 days, only, well, 0.17 inches of rain, one of the drier stretches of 30 days from mid-September to mid-October, and that's the 7-day outlook. Hardly a trace of rain, and in our eastern counties, so the dry spell continues. Temperatures will actually be up to 90 on Wednesday, but we'll be back down to the low 70s by Friday, a little bit cooler by the weekend. Stay with us. Steve Pickett will be right back with more news.
There are growing concerns about a possible second wave of COVID infections for the United States. Here in North Texas, numbers are also ticking up. Tarrant County reporting its largest spike in nearly 2 months, reporting 794 cases today. Dallas is adding 410 new cases. Collin County reporting 57. Denton, however, does not report any new data on Sundays. About this for a birthday celebration. Several law enforcement agencies doing a drive-by in Azle today to wish Mary Jo Harris a very happy birthday. She turns 90 years young this week. Her family says she spent almost 20 years in law enforcement herself as an officer and police dispatcher. So it was only fitting to have her fellow men and women in blue come by to show their thanks.
It's pretty awesome, man. You know, I enjoyed it. This is quite a blessing. 24 years strong.
Wearing a badge is a family tradition. Harris's late husband spent a lifetime in law enforcement as well, and all 3 of her sons have worn a uniform as well. Happy birthday to you. And thank you so much for watching CBS 11 News at 10, the ones for Texas. Still ahead, former Cowboys quarterback Danny White, the subject of tonight's Living Room Sports. Plus, a local physician and longtime trauma surgeon weighs in on Dak's injury and a whole lot more on the Cowboys coming up in just a minute.
Time now for the Nissan Sports Desk. It was an emotional scene that few Cowboys fans will ever forget. Through the first 4 games of this season, Dak Prescott was on a pace to break all the Cowboys' passing records, but his season comes to an end so abruptly. He goes down with a gruesome fractured ankle, but not before he once again led a Cowboys comeback he's become known for. The Cowboys taking on a New York Giants team that featured former Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett, now the Giants offensive coordinator. And after Garrett's creative play calling on New York's opening drive with the Cowboys down 7-3 early, Dallas does what they've done time and time again, a turnover. Kyler Fackrell picks off Prescott and rumbles 46 yards to the end zone. The Cowboys find themselves in another early hole at 14-3. But the Cowboys defense comes to play today. They make a play. DeMarcus Lawrence, his first sack of the season, the strip sack. Ball picked up by Anthony Brown, 29 yards, touchdown. The game is tied at 17-all. Just before the half, Giants look like they are going to attempt a field goal. It's a fake Evan Ingram wide open. Cowboys are bailed out, though, as an illegal shift is called against the Giants. It was former Cowboy Cam Fleming doing the honors there. And then how about this? The Phillies special, Cedric Wilson to Dak Prescott for the touchdown, his first touchdown reception of his career, and Dak as gleeful as we've seen him on the sidelines. It was 24-20 Dallas at the half. Second half, it looked like a touchdown for the Giants there, but that one called back. Offensive pass interference called against the Giants. It was 24-23 as they had to settle for a field goal. And then this, Dak Prescott on the keeper, taken down by Giants safety Logan Ryan, a compound fracture and dislocation of his right ankle that required surgery tonight. A hush comes over the stadium, an emotional scene as teammates and coaches gather around, including Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett. Zeke Elliott into the end zone, though, and an emotional Zeke with showing the number 4 to the camera after scoring on that one. But then miscues again for the Cowboys as Andy Dalton and Tyler Biadasz, the rookie center, mishandled the snap from center. It was recovered by the Giants, and they converted into points as the Giants would wind up taking the lead in the game. 2-point conversion made it a 34-31 lead. And then Andy Dalton comes through, first firing to Michael Gallup as the Cowboys took over with 52 seconds left in the game. A 72-yard 5-play drive. And how about this in the final 30 seconds? It's Dalton up top to Michael Gallup, and that put the Cowboys in position for the game-winning field goal as Greg Zuerlein would come on from 34 yards out to boot it through. 37-34. The Cowboys win. They are now all alone in first place in the NFC East at 2-3, but everybody talking about the injured quarterback.
I know we won, but it just sucks to lose Dak, our leader. And I was talking to the guys. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us to fill that void that we're going to be missing.
I have no doubt that he'll bounce back from this, and this will be all part of his great story. This will just be another chapter in a great story. He's a fine young man and an outstanding quarterback.
Devastating when you lose your number 1. It's really words can't explain. I know how it feels. I've experienced it myself. But I know Dak's a fighter. We came in together. We came in together as rookies and built a great relationship. And one thing I know about him, he gonna fight.
As it turns out, a huge win for this Cowboys team, and what gives them hope going forward is the fact they do still have a veteran quarterback in Andy Dalton, who has led a team to multiple playoff appearances before. The 32-year-old Dalton, who is the Cincinnati Bengals all-time leader for passing yards and touchdowns in a season, was able to get the job done in the clutch today. The former TCU Horned Frog connected with Michael Gallup in the final 30 seconds for the 38-yard completion that set up Zuerlein's game winner. Now he tries to do in Dallas what he did 5 times in Cincinnati, lead his team to the postseason.
You never want anything to happen, but you got to stay ready.
It was no surprise just to see him pick up and keep going.
Andy, he's a vet. When he gets in a huddle, he's very vocal. He's ready, and that's really assuring that he gets up there with a lot of confidence.
Just having him as, the next man up is no better feeling. He has you feeling confident. He's going in smiling on the last, drive.
You want to have the opportunity to play. Yeah, I knew the situation that I was in, and just trying to do my best to support Dak and everything that he's doing. But Yeah, I feel like I was prepared for these moments.
So many around the NFL and from other sports expressing their thoughts about Dak on social media. Troy Aikman saying he's devastated for Dak, one of the truly great people in the NFL. Deion Sanders praying for Dak. You have overcome all adversity to get this far, and you will overcome this as well because you're a conqueror. Dirk Nowitzki thinking of you, Dak. Patrick Mahomes, big-time prayers for Dak. In a statement, Jason Garrett told USA Today, I really feel sad for Dak. He's such a great player, really special person. It just makes you sick. There's no doubt in my mind that he'll face this challenge head on and come back stronger and better than ever. Local physician and longtime trauma surgeon Dr. Steve Weinberg of Colleyville offers his insight on Dak's injury. What was your immediate reaction when you saw that?
I wanted to throw up for him. I knew, you know, instantly that it was a fracture dislocation. At least I did. I knew the pain he was in, both physically and psychologically, because he knew what just happened to his season.
Could it affect his career?
I don't think so. They'll get the bone straightened. They'll get the ankle going in the right direction. And if they can avoid an infection, things should heal. And I don't think he'll play in the regular season, but 6-8 weeks from now, that bone should be healed, and it should not be a long-term effect on his career.
It looks like it would be such a serious injury. How severe is this injury?
It's pretty severe. I think those of us that have watched football a long time remember Joe Theismann. I don't think it's as bad as that. I think he won't be out for a full year. Whether he'd get back for playoffs or not, I'm not sure.
It was such an emotional scene with teammates and coaches, even his former coach on the other sideline. And in the crowd, as he was carted off the field, you could see the tears in his eyes. How much pain was he in when he was carted off?
Interesting question. When it occurred, he would have been in tremendous pain. When they put the boot on him and the bones were no longer moving, he'd have been in very little physical pain. It's interesting how fractures, once they're reduced and held, cause very little pain. However, I saw those tears, and I believe he knew that his season was over. He knew how hard he has worked to get to this point, and I think those were emotional tears, not physical pain tears. And I think all of us, some of us wanted to cry for him.
Good news about Dak. It appears that this is not an injury that will affect his career long term. Living Room Sports is coming up next as Keith Russell chats with another Cowboys quarterback from the past, Danny White. It's time for another edition of Living Room Sports, as tonight we chat with former Cowboys quarterback Danny White. Late in the first half of today's Cowboys game, Dak Prescott caught the first touchdown pass of his Cowboys career, and it was the first time a Cowboys quarterback has caught a touchdown pass in 35 years. Yes, here it is. In 1985, Danny White caught a touchdown pass against the Cleveland Browns. Danny has always been a terrific athlete. Of course, he was also the Cowboys punter for many years, also a baseball star at Arizona State, where he and his father, Whizzer White, were both All-American football players. Keith Russell zooms into Danny White's living room tonight.
What do you think is the biggest thing that stood out about your career, Danny?
I hope it was just winning. That's all I played for. A lot of guys live for the notoriety, the publicity, being famous, having money. I played for one thing, and that was to win. I loved winning. I thrived on it. I was addicted to it. I don't think people realize how hard it is to lose. For someone like me anyway, I hated it. When you look at my record, the thing that I'm the most proud of is, in the 6 seasons that I started and 5 that I started and finished, we were in the playoffs all 5 years. A 5-5 record, played in 10 playoff games, 3 NFC championship games, unfortunately lost them all. And that was hard. That was really hard. We're one step, in one case, one finger away tackle on Drew against the 49ers, one tackle, one finger away from going to the Super Bowl. To get that close that many times is tough because I was in my 7th season before I became a starter. I had 2 in the World Football League, 4 backing up Roger, which was an absolute joke, by the way. I mean, Roger was not that good. And if Roger's watching this right now, he knows me well enough to know that I'm messing. He used to always say things to me like, you know, Danny, I can't afford to get hurt because you'll take my job. I'll never get back in. He used to say stuff like that to me. And how silly is that? But anyway, to have played in 10 playoff games in just 5 seasons, I think is pretty good. That's what I'm the most proud of. I'm not proud that we lost those playoff games, those championship games. But, you know, based on what's happened in the last 20 years, I think that's pretty good.
Whether it was you or Roger or Troy or Tony or Dak, what does it mean to be starting quarterback for the Cowboys?
I guess it means a whole lot of people are counting on you to do your job and to do it well, more so than probably any other team in the league. When you're the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, you have to be willing to accept the fact that you're going to have to live with the consequences for the rest of your life, because Dallas Cowboy fans don't forget.
The one thing you mentioned is that Cowboys fans have a forever memory. Do you think you got the credit you deserve?
I hear people say that I was underappreciated or recognized, but it is what it is. You know, I'm proud of what I did, what I accomplished. Skinny baseball player from Mesa, Arizona, you know, playing in a Super Bowl or 2, actually 2. I didn't play the game to be appreciated. I played it to win games, to win championships. That was my motivation. So I don't lay awake at night worrying about the fact that people don't appreciate me. I just don't. I was never one of those guys who put football above everything else. I never did. My faith, my family were more important to me than football. Now, football was up there, probably 3rd on my list, but I have the peace of mind of knowing that I left 100% of myself on the field. There's never a time when I took it easy, got lazy in practice, in the weight room, in games. So I have that peace of mind and that comfort, and I don't worry about it.
I would imagine for you, especially with you being the successor to Roger, you were always compared to Roger Staubach. How did it make you feel?
In my humble opinion, he was the best leader that's ever played the position. Maybe not the best passer, the best runner, the best athlete, but the best leader to ever have played that position. So to be compared to him, to be compared to the best, can't ask for anything more than that. And to even be spoken of in the same sentence with Roger Staubach is a compliment.
So you didn't take it as a burden that people would say, well, wait a minute, Roger did this, now Danny does this. Roger did it this way, now Danny does it this way. You didn't take that as a burden at all?
No, and in fact, statistically, if you look at the numbers and you break it down to per season or per game, or I outdid him in a lot of ways, in a lot of areas. But when it came to winning championships, big games, which is what I prided myself in, he was the best. And he did what he had to do. So to answer your question, I don't, it doesn't bother me at all to be compared to Roger Staubach. If I can be half the man that he was and is to this day, I would consider myself very successful.
What's the difference from where you were as a player and where you are as a broadcaster? What's the difference in your vision of the game?
I am very old school, and it frustrates me, and I have a hard time not saying anything about it, the way the game is played today, the way the players are treated. The game has just changed. I've got a picture I'm looking at right here on my wall of my dad. It's my favorite picture of him. He was an All-American at Arizona State, played for the Bears for George Halas for a couple of years, blew out his knee. I've got this picture. He's jumping up. He's got the ball kind of in between his fingers over his head, and there's two defenders, and one of them has three fingers in Dad's eye because Dad would not wear a face mask because he said it made him look like a sissy. His uniform is splattered with blood. He ends up catching this ball for a touchdown. I look at that and I think, boy, have things changed. And, you know, he played for $10,000 a year.
A lot of players from when I grew up, they make no bones about it, about how athletes today are pampered, whether they're pampered in treatment or pampered in paper, money. They're pampered, and some just pass it off as, oh, well, it's a sign of the times, a change in the times. Others are like, this is ridiculous. They're adamant about letting it be known that it's ridiculous. What's your stance?
I'm jealous. You know, that's all it is, because I look at Dak having to settle for $31.4 million this year. He will make more money in one game than I made in my entire career. I'm jealous, but good for him, man. I mean, it's been a long time coming. Every player in the National Football League is getting paid more than they are worth. I got paid more than I was worth. So I'm jealous, but that's not anything personal against any one particular guy. It's just I wish my mom had waited 20 years to have me, that's all.
Our thanks to Danny White for joining us tonight here on Living Room Sports. Coming up, an NBA champion is crowned tonight, and the National League Championship Series is coming to a ballpark near you.
I'm Colin Allred.
Cowboys are back home a week from tomorrow night when Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals come to town for Monday Night Football. Cardinals lose their star edge rusher Chandler Jones for the season with a biceps injury today against the Jets. Kyler Murray runs for a touchdown, and he also throws for 380 yards and another touchdown. He finds DeAndre Hopkins with a 37-yard touchdown pass as the Cardinals improved to 3-2 on the season, a 30-10 win over the Jets today. Eagles began the day in first place in the NFC East. They were playing at Pittsburgh today, and what a day for Chase Claypool, the rookie out of Notre Dame. 4 touchdowns, the 32-yard touchdown reception from Big Ben as Pittsburgh was up 14-7. Eagles rally Travis Fulgham with the completion from the pass from Carson Wentz for 4 yards, pulled it within 31-29. But it's Claypool again, his 4th touchdown of the day as the Steelers pull away to win 38-29 over the Eagles. Meanwhile, the Washington football team hosting the Rams started Kyle Allen at quarterback. Alex Smith also plays. What a great story there. But the story of this game was the Rams are just too much. It was Jared Goff to Robert Woods for 56 yards and a touchdown. Darrell Henderson from Goff, another touchdown. And the Rams win over the football team 30-10. NFC East standings look this way. Isn't this pretty? The Cowboys are all alone in first place. They're 2-3, followed by the Eagles at 1-3-1. The football team at 1-4, and the Giants at 0-5. All right, here we go. NBA Finals, Game 6. LeBron and the Lakers trying to close out the Miami Heat tonight, and LeBron and the Lakers get out to a 64-36 halftime lead, and they coast from there. A triple-double for LeBron, 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists, and 106-93. The Lakers are winners over the Heat, their first championship in a decade. winning the 4th time in his career for LeBron. 106-93 again over the Heat. They're celebrating in L.A. tonight. American League Championship Series Game 1 tonight in San Diego. Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays. Astros get on the board first. Jose Altuve playing well in the postseason. The solo shot, a 1-0 lead. It was tied at 1 in the 5th when Mike Zunino gets the RBI single for the Rays to put them ahead to stay, and it would stay that way. 2-1 the final. Tampa Bay wins Game 1. The National League Championship Series starts tomorrow night at Globe Life Field in Arlington. The Los Angeles Dodgers and Atlanta Braves. And for the first time this baseball season, there will be fans in the stands at a baseball game. Around 11,000 allowed for each game of the NLCS and World Series at Globe Life Field. AP college football rankings are out for today, and Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia 1, 2, 3. Notre Dame at 4. Mac Brown's North Carolina Tar Heels are 5. Oklahoma State's at number 7. Their game against Baylor postponed for next week. Texas A&M, huge win over Florida, and yet they're ranked behind Florida. The Gators are 10th and the Aggies are 11th. SMU's at 17, and inexplicably, Oklahoma is not ranked in the top 25, and yet 7 teams who have never played a game this season are ranked in the top 25. So don't pay attention to this list at all. And more sports in a moment.
Danny, as we wrap it up, I want to see Carly.
Carly.
I want to see Carly.
Let me see if I can get her.
Carly.
You want me to go get her?
That would be awesome, Danny, if you get her.
Let me go get her. All right.
All right. There's Carly.
Took her a while. This is Carly. Say hi, Carly.
And Carly is
She's a Cavapoo, a King Charles Cavalier and Poodle mix. Yeah, she's my partner.
I can tell you guys have a special bond, Danny. I can tell, man.
Thanks to Danny and Carly White for joining us on Living Room Sports. Cowboys game night coming up next.